Hello, it's Scott Bassett with Understanding Narcissists. In this episode, I want to talk about, or ask you rather, what you think a narcissist's greatest fear is. What is their greatest fear? If you think it's being outed, so to speak, or everybody learning or believing that they're awful, they're narcissistic, you're absolutely right. Their greatest fear is that all the stuff I'm telling you I'll tell you in this video and in all my other videos is true. That is the worst thing that could happen. That's what they're afraid of, what they're trying to combat at all costs, especially the illusion, the idea that they're trying to fool people to believe something that isn't real. Now, this has a few facets to it, because there's another interesting thing that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. But if you look at a narcissist's day-to-day, their day-to-day activities and how defensive they are, how they're passive-aggressive, but they're passively defensive, you will notice that they position themselves so that they cannot be manipulated by the methods they use to manipulate you. Interesting point. Makes a lot of sense. They deliberately and very carefully try to control you and position themselves in such a way so that they cannot be controlled with the same means they use to control you. Now, one of the simplest ways this expresses itself is in the fact that they try to be somewhat internally consistent with their criticism of you. So, what they criticize you for being or not being, they themselves try to not be or be. That didn't come out right. It's a very simple concept, and that doesn't do it justice. Simply put, if the illusion is that you're messy and they're clean, they by association are always organized, on the ball, know what they're doing, competent. I love that word, competent, at all times. So with that in mind, you can kind of run through your head about all the things you hear. Because remember, you'll notice that all the things that are great about them are bad about you. They use your whatever's wrong with you. It's really not, but they make you believe there's something wrong with you as leverage on the opposite end to make them look superior, superb, perfect, great, whatever. Now, this in itself is something. Here's a concept that a narcissist cannot understand. That in itself is dependent, because it relies upon what they can get you to believe in order to, so they can feel a certain way about themselves. Interesting concept. You think about it, it's absolutely 100% true and correct. Their entire image is extremely dependent because it relies on what you'll believe, what they can get you to believe and reflect back onto them. Now, it's an interesting point that, to think that they have this desire. They can't actualize themselves. They don't have a strong enough or any real identity to speak of. Personhood, the confidence, the strength, the values, whatever. But there's some kind of that childlike desire there, that desire to have those feelings so they can be a person. They're able to transmit that to you in a dysfunctional, abusive way, and then so that you reflect it back onto them, even though they can't do it themselves. So an interesting point there in this video. I don't want to leave it hanging, but because in order to explain all those things, it'll take more concepts that I'll explain in later videos. But that core weakness and dependence, that core cycle that exists, is really important in understanding them on a deeper level that I'll share with you in later videos. And I think that's probably all I want to share or tell you about right now. Thanks for watching. Like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a wonderful day. Bye.